Run it up.
Hey guys, we're out here. It's the middle of summer. A couple of days ago I've been out here and the birds showed up, the bait fish were balling up, and I thought, man, let's go and do a seg for you guys because catching tailor is predominantly done during winter, right? Haha! We are in the middle of summer and these things have been bouncing everywhere. So we've just pulled up, there's birds diving, I can see the fish chopping. Right on the first of that tide change. It's a little bit bumpy at times, but it's quite calm on top of the flats, so we'll stay up here. So I've got a couple of different outfits for you to show today. We're going to be running Perry lures. I've got a Baitcaster. A lot of people love a Baitcaster. Good to get your casting practice in. Also for those wanting to get the distance in, if you're going barra fishing or flathead fishing or anything like that, the Baitcaster, you need to have a practice. So I've got that and also my spin outfit, all from Shimano. So it's awesome. Now we've just come off a ledge here. The Garmin's saying 5 meters, 5.3. These bait fish are going to be pushing off the edge here. And I reckon that's where they're going to be bouncing. So we're just going to wait and see. There's a few other boats around. Fingers crossed they don't drive through the school and put them down. There's a guy over there in an IKEA looking boat, so that could happen. But there's a few other guys here that got some pretty cool fishing rigs. So I reckon they'll know exactly what they're doing. So let's try and see how we go and catch some tailor on the spin. So I'm just going to work this line here, that drop off. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of, there you go, it stops pretty much. That means the lure is definitely on the deck. We're just going to slowly retrieve back. Just vary your retrieve as well. You can stop, you can release the bail, get the lure back down to the deck, back over, crank it in. You can speed it up, slow it down, depends. Just do everything possible to get that fish to bite, get his attention. Rod tip down, if you keep it up, that lure's going to bounce across the surface. Great if the fish are on the surface smashing things up, but if they're under the water, keep your lure under the water. It's really simple stuff. When you get back in, you get another thing I want to show you here is have a look at this. My leader length is literally 40 centimeters, that's it. I'm running 80 pound because tailor have teeth, and trust me, when they're running this sort of stuff here and they're going to actually want to, hit it, they're not going to be worried about the leader length. Not at all. So I'll leave that down there to give you an idea. It's really not that long. And the knot, you can have an FG knot if you want. That's just a simple double uni knot. And of course that knot stays outside the runners, therefore I can cast it much easier. Learn the FG knot, you'll be able to put a longer leader on. How's that? You're just working this little current line here. So it's gone from flat up here to deep down here. I was mentioning at the start of this is dropping from 1 metre or 2 down to about 5 and a bit metres, and right on that ledge is where they're sitting. Now they haven't busted up in the last few minutes. They were earlier, and then we turned up and they all went away, which does happen, but the fish are still there. It's just a matter of whether they're coming to the surface. Now you're going to notice I'm keeping the rod tip down. You lose a lot of tailor, but keep the rod tip down so you don't want him to come up and jump. And there he is there. We'll flick him into the boat, and there he goes. Have a look at that. Nice little chopper. Come here, mate. Nice little chopper, just smashing that lure. So that's a Perry lure there. Come in 3 different sizes and quite a few different weights as well. So you're going to find that these guys here, just like a bait fish. So that's what he's thought that was, and he's going to smack it. So we'll let that guy go. See you later, champion. Go and tell your mates. Now, when you do let tailor go, it doesn't really matter about where you let them go, so to speak. A lot of people, if you're catching mangrove jacks or brim and all that sort of stuff there, if you let the fish go after you've hooked it, you'll find a lot of fish go away. It shuts them down completely. Flathead, not so much, because obviously they just lie on the bottom. Putting a tailor back in the water straight away, good tip for you. Doesn't matter. If they're undersized, you want to get a lure back out. So all I'm going to do here, give another flick out the back there on that drop off, and we'll see how we go. That's nice. So I'm running here, it's a Stradic 5000. Really cool, nice little Zodius rod, really lightweight. So I use this thing for lots of stuff. A bigger flathead with a, like a 1/2 ounce jig weight, anything like that. I'll also use it for snapper, float lining for snapper. And one thing I do like about this reel is the handle. Have a look at that handle. It's like a ball, so it really grabs in your hand quite easily when you are going to be spinning back, and just nice and steady. If you want, release the bail, let that lure sink back down to the deck, and that way you're working back through that water column from the bottom to the top, again going from a couple of meters down to about 5 meters or so. Oh yeah. Sweet. Come on, buddy. Gee, we had to move to find the birds. There's so many birds around us here. It's pretty cool. I did that real long cast there just to cover a little bit more ground across where these birds are diving. And here he comes, nice little chopper. This is where you lose them, so straight in the boat and score the fish. How cool are these guys? Nice. Just got to watch their hooks there, of course. Easily going you, and you got to watch that. They'll bite you. Like these things chop you straight down. They got a great set of teeth on them. Nice little tailor. We'll let that guy go. There we go. Must have landed in its mouth. You got to be careful of these reels because you feel at home. They're so smooth, the Shimano gears on this Stradic, is that, there he is that you want to wind it fast because it's so smooth, but these Tailor are not a fast spinning fish. So there he goes. Just lost him right there, but they're not a fast swimming fish. They're quite clumsy, if anything. So a slower retrieve is going to get these fish biting straight away. You do just nice and steady. I know you want to just rip it back because it's so smooth, it's really beautiful. If you haven't got a Stradic, grab one. Bloody awesome. Let's talk about distance, casting. Yes, length is everything, everybody. Because you got to think, if the fish are further out or they're not bouncing the surface or anything like that, is you need to cover as much ground as you can. So, big cast, out it goes. Cast with the wind, great idea. You get an extra few yards out of that as well, or meters. Let it hit the deck, done. And then start cranking. So, upside, awesome. You're covering more water, you might get a fish way out there, meaning the school of fish is out there. Downside, if the fish start chopping them up over there, and you're 80 or 100 meters out that way, you got a bit of a wind before you can get to those fish over there. So there's always an upside and a downside to things, but I like to cover more ground if the fish aren't chopping. And visual, keep an eye on everything just for that one blast on the surface. That one chop could mean there's 100 fish below it. Always look. Time for the Baitcaster. Really get into it. Don't be scared to give it some gas. Let it roll. Just before it hits the deck, you want to make sure that you're actually thumbing it back. This outfit is really great. I love it. I can cast a pretty decent lure on it. It's great for poppering, it's great for vibing, it's great for flicking plackies and trolling, and of course bait fishing or live baiting in particular. But I've got the 300 HG Curado. It's one of the best reels that Shimano have in their overhead range for me for bait casters. It's such an awesome reel to actually fish with you. It's a pleasure to fish with it. And the rod it's matched up with is a Zodius 7 to 14 handle, 3 to 7 kilos. So over the shoulder it goes, nice flick out. Watch it before it hits the deck, boom, it goes. Now they also bring out a DC model. The DC model is a digitally controlled system. Puts the brakes on the spool basically, as it is kind of computerized, and allows the spool to slow down when it understands that the lure, as it's pulling the line off that drum, as it starts to slow a bit, it goes, ooh, put the brakes on, so it slows down. Therefore, if you're not used to a baitcaster, it's a really cool one to use. It's got a wicked sound to it as well. So all I do here when I am casting out, oh, I had a follow then, a few tailor about, again running a Perry's lure, is I want to show you, if I undo the drum tensioner here, okay, so I'm undoing that, and now have a look at the lure, and I take my thumb off it, it's going to fly to the deck really fast. You ready? Down it goes, boom. And then you get all this bird's nest hanging out because the lure hit the deck, the spool's too loose, and you get what we call a bird's nest. So we just pull that out. So when you are fishing, well, when you are casting, you always test it. So now I'm going to tighten this little drum tensioner. So when I wind the lure up, you'll be able to see from back over there, is it's in free spool, but the lure's not going anywhere. So it's too tight. So if I just back it off a little bit, and it goes down nice and gently like that, and when it hits the deck, there's no overrun on the spool, and that's a perfect setting to cast that weighted lure. Adjust it on every lure that you're using. If it's a heavy one, again, nice and steady as it goes down. If it's a lighter lure, same deal. If it flies to the ground, there's a good chance you're going to get that bird's nest. You don't want it. I like to keep it around about 1.5 foot from the tip, over the shoulder, and flicks it out. Let it down, and she hits. It's a beautiful way of casting. When I'm winding here, I control the reel by cradling it like that. I've got big mitts, but that's it there. It's got the trigger grip on the rod, therefore it can't pull out once you lock it into your fingers, and that's it. And if you want, you can even move it further, and you can hold here. It's direct. There's no spinning reel of the line coming across like that. It's always on your finger. That's why I love bait casters. They're so great for live baiting. And we just wind it in like that. If you feel that knock, you strike. Yeah, we actually have one now. Rod tip down again, you don't want that fish to jump. Nice on that Perry lure. And there he is, a little jump. Good on you, mate. And straighten the boat once again. Wait. There we have it. Nice tailor. I'll take that hook out of him, but right size for the bait fish. They're going to absolutely smash that, and you'll find they'll do exceptionally well. So that is the Sea Tiger, and really nice colour. It's like a, I guess like a dolphin fish or mahi-mahi colour. This guy was hungry too, by the way. Nice. We'll let that guy go. See you, buddy. There he goes. So there you have it, casting with a baitcaster, casting with a spinner. A couple of those tips there for you to try, of course. Work the drop-offs, look for the birds, look for the bait, you'll find the fish. If they're not breaking the surface and the birds are fluttering, cast a long distance cast. Get it out there and follow that water. Work that water between you and the lure. You might get 100 yards. There's a good chance you might hook up in there. But again, the downside is if they show up there, you've got a lot of winding to get it back in quick. But it's just an easier way of catching tailor during summer. Again, there's so much bait around at the moment in southeast Queensland. Check your rules and regulations. Bag limits and size limits of tailor can differentiate around the country, so just make sure you're up to speed. Like and subscribe, and of course we'll see you again right here on our Step Outside with Paul Burt YouTube channel.
Now, if you want to keep up to date with all things outside, simply head to our social pages and give us a follow. There you'll find tips, our latest Step Outside podcast, fishing segments and recipes.